The best time of the week, ladies and gentlemen. It is Saturday. That means you are watching our Ravens Rundown live mailbag. Every single one of these questions came from us or for us on Tuesday. We go live every single Tuesday, and it's an absolute blast. So make sure, never miss a moment, hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications, because you guys get your chance to get on the show yourself. First question coming up from Deshaun Jones. Nice little profile picture playing football there. Says, do you think Ben Cleveland wins the left guard spot? Hashtag Ravens. I hope so. Honestly, I'm just not sold on Andrew Voorhees. I think that's been a guy that they've really wanted to take a massive step up. They've really wanted to be able to rely on. And so far, they really haven't been able to. He had the starting role last year, got hurt pretty quickly, then didn't see the starting rotation for the rest of the season after like week 4 because Patrick McCarry came in, won the job. Right now, they said it on Tuesday after practice, this race is between Ben Cleveland and Andrew Voorhees. It's between those two guys. I think Ben Cleveland might go ahead and win it. So we'll see what happens. Again, not in love with Andrew Voorhees, but he could win it as well, but I would put my money on Cleveland. Make sure you guys have those notifications on. Like I told you earlier, we like to call it the Noti Gang, okay? It's very exclusive, but it's everybody who's got those bells on. 11.9% of our subscribers are in that Noti Gang. My goal, get that up to 12%. Okay, if you do not have those notifications on, this is a reason to do it. Get in our Noti Gang, and every time we drop a video, you're the first one to know. Next up, coming from VV, do you think the pass rush will be better? Yes, I do. I hope the pass rush is more consistent. They were really good at getting sacks. They just struggled to get consistent pressure. And when you add Mike Green, when Odafe Owe is adding like 20 pounds over the offseason, hopefully Nnamdi Madubuike can take a step back up. You had a really good pass rushing defensive tackle in the draft in Anais Peebles. I think it's going to step up. It has to step up because if you looked at last year, who won the Super Bowl? That's right, Philadelphia Eagles. Why did they win the Super Bowl? Well, they were able to pressure Patrick Mahomes all night long without sending a blitz once. They had an elite defensive line. That won them that game. That's what Baltimore needs to win a Super Bowl in 2025. Next up for Chris Byron, you think the Ravens are going to get another inside linebacker? Great question. At the current recording of this video, they do not have one. Another one, a new one. I wouldn't mind Jermaine Pratt. I talked about it on Tuesday morning. He just got released by the Bengals on Monday. I wouldn't mind CJ Mosley. I know he's old, but he suffered a little bit of an injury last year, which isn't a great sign, but I think he'd be cheap. I wouldn't mind another one just as a depth piece. Excited to see who wins the battle between Trenton Simpson and Teddy Buchanan. I'd probably lean Simpson, not because I think he's better, but just because I think he's got more experience. Kimberly Harmon up next. Hashtag Ravens, do you think Isaiah Likely gets more touchdowns than Mark Andrews? Ooh. Hard to say. Because Mark Andrews is just a red zone merchant. Touchdown merchant. Like, he is the man when it comes to catching red zone touchdowns. He had so many touchdowns last year. So many of them were in the red zone. I'm going to say no. But I do think Isaiah Likely has more yards and more catches than Mark Andrews does. But I just think Mark Andrews still solidifies himself as a red zone threat. Seahawks and Tua fan. Interesting. Seahawks fan, Tua Tagovailoa fan in the Ravens rundown. This guy just likes the NFL. How is Zach Orr doing, you ask? He is doing well, I think. Everything coming out of camp, I think is, he's taking that next step. Just what you would expect from a player from year 1 to year 2. I think the same thing goes for a coordinator from year 1 to year 2. He's doing great. The guys love him. They rally around him. I think he's really, learning a lot from Chuck Pagano. I think he's going to add a ton to this staff, especially when it comes to the secondary. So I think he's doing pretty well. Excited to see him in 2025. Next up, Renz365. What is up? Should the Ravens trade for Martin Emerson? Interesting name. One we actually haven't talked about yet. Browns cornerback Martin Emerson, for those who don't know. No, I just don't think he's good enough to trade for. It's like, if he was a free agent, maybe, but there's just better free agent cornerbacks than Martin Emerson. There's like 4 free agent cornerbacks I can name off the top of my head right now. Asante Samuel Jr., Jaire Alexander, Kendall Fuller, Stephon Gilmore, Rasul Douglas. There's 5. 5 free agents I would want more than Martin Emerson. Make the call. Let me know. Should the Ravens trade for Martin Emerson? Give me a yes, give me a no in the comment section down below. Weigh in with your answer. Up next, we got Andrew Hempy. How many touches for D-Hop? Well, you say touches. He's not going to touch the football outside of catching a pass. They're not going to run the ball with him. So this is pretty much how many catches does he get? Anywhere from 50 to 60, 45 to 60, I'd say. And that sounds like a low number, like if it's in the 45 range. And that's not necessarily a knock on Hopkins, more of a, there are so many weapons on this offense. There's just so many times you can touch a ball, right? You got to get the ball to Flowers. You got to get the ball to Bateman. You got to get the ball to both of the tight ends. You got Justice Hill as a pass-catching option. You have Derrick Henry. You have Lamar Jackson as a running option. You have Keaton Mitchell. Like, there's so many good players on this offense. So I just don't see a world where he gets more than 60. That's my opinion. Next up, Jameer Castro, now a free agent, and the injury to Ardarius Washington. Should the Ravens sign Jaire Alexander to help the secondary? Yeah, they should, based on the price. If it's a cheap-ish price, I would do it probably in a heartbeat. I'm all about like adding as many options as you can on the secondary. And I think it could end up being cheap-ish. I think Jaire Alexander thinks he's going to get paid a little bit more than he actually is, if I'm being honest. He's betting on himself. But like, think about Asante Samuel Jr. He's younger. He's really good as well. He's been a free agent for 3 months now. Nobody's touching him because I think they're worried about the injury history. Same thing goes with Jaire Alexander, and he's even older. And so I think they could get him for cheapish if he's still in the market in like a month and a half. We'll see, though. Mike Nintendo Master, #Ravens, will the Ravens trade for an edge rusher? I don't think they will at this point. Like, the only one worth trading for is Trey Hendrickson, and Baltimore's not going to trade Trey Hendrickson to you. And so I don't think so. I think they're really happy with what they got. They've got a really crowded edge rusher room right now. And so, like, I don't think they'd trade for a guy to bring him into a room that's already really, really crowded and honestly pretty good. Speaking of guys that are pretty good, let's talk about Lamar Jackson. You can get his jersey right now for $20 off. $80 only, 20%. It's a phenomenal deal. Brought to you by our friends over at Fanatics. Chatsports.com/Lamar Jersey is where you got to go. This deal's not going to last long, okay? Free shipping, $80 Lamar Jackson jersey. You're not going to find a better deal than this and any time of the year on any other site than you will right here, right now. Links in the comments. It's also in the description of today's video, or you can just type in chatsports.com/Lamar Jersey. It'll take you to that website. Go ahead and buy yourself one. Treat yourself. $80 Lamar Jersey. Wonderful deal. Next up, Kyler Richards. Ravens. Is Mike Green going to be on the D-line, or is he going to be a linebacker? He's going to be an edge rusher. Now, he'll be listed as an outside linebacker because that's just what a 3-4 is. Like, they're listed as outside linebackers, like Odafe Oweh, Kyle Van Noy, David Ajabo. Those guys are technically linebackers, but he's going to be on the defensive line, just as an edge rusher, outside linebacker. Up next from Aiden Breen. With the crowded edge room, who do you think will make the cut? I personally don't think Ajabo will make it. I don't either. We've actually talked about this a good bit over the last couple of months of the offseason. I think Tavius Robinson makes it over David Ajabo. I think they take 5 edge rushers. I think it's Odafe Oweh, Kyle Van Noy, Mike Green, Tavius Robinson, and then I'm missing someone. Who am I missing? Let me tell you in just 1 second. Oh, Adisa Isaac. Yeah, Adisa Isaac, the draft pick 2 years ago from Penn State. So not this last one, but the year before. Yeah, I think it's going to be those 5. I think they'll choose between Robinson or Ajabo. I think they'd lean Robinson. I'd lean Robinson as well, just because of health concerns. David Ajabo's never on the field, and when he is, he's not really even that productive either. Jameer Castro with another one. What player looks like they'll have a better season than last season? Devontae Walker. 1 catch, 2 targets, 1 touchdown last year, which was great. But everything I'm hearing from camp is that he's been really, really good. I also think Isaiah Likely's going to have a better season than last year. Like, he only had like 450 receiving yards in the season for the entire regular season. I would expect him to have around 600. So I think he's going to be a guy that has a better season than last year, a little bit of a breakout season. Welp is up next. I think TJ Tampa is going to get more snaps than Chidobe Awuzie in the second half of the year. Yes, I do. If you said in the first half, I would say no. If you said maybe in the whole year, I would maybe say no as well. But if you're just talking second half, I think so. I'm really curious to see how TJ Tampa is going to do in training camp. So far, there hasn't been a ton on him in OTAs, hoping there's a little bit more in minicamp. This is a guy you kind of need to step up. You lost Brandon Stevens, and I know Brandon Stevens isn't that great, but he still was a guy you could at least know and feel somewhat confident that he wasn't going to ruin everything. He's gone now. TJ Tampa is going to have to step up. Chidobe Awuzie, they're both going to have to step up. Darius Williams with our next question. Do you think we should trade for Jaquan McMillan from the Denver Broncos? Maybe if you could get him for something, like I know they got Pat Surtain in that cornerback room as well. I wouldn't mind it. It depends what you'd be able to offer him. He's 25. He's still young. I believe this is a contract year for McMillan, so that's going to be interesting. You know, you'd have to trade for him and then sign him in a year or only get 1 year out of him. Depending on the price, I'd be interested, but I just don't see Baltimore doing that. I just feel like they're a team that's happy with where they are. They're good enough to kind of stay put, and they kind of always feel that way, right? The best of the North is up next. Hashtag Ravens going to be blunt. Do we get Jaire Alexander or Justin Simmons? No. If I had to guess of those two guys, I would probably guess Justin Simmons just because of the need at safety with Artarius Washington, Achilles tear. Bo Braid had to leave practice on Monday with an injury as well. And so I would say Justin out of those two. But let's be real. We know this Ravens team. I was just talking about it. They like to stay put. They like their guys. They keep their cards close to the vest. They don't make a lot of moves. This isn't Howie Roseman running this thing, okay? It's Eric DeCosta. He's a little bit more risk-averse. And so I don't think they're going to spend that money because I think they'd rather spend that money elsewhere, like next offseason. Signing extensions for guys like Isaiah Likely, guys they want to keep around like Travis Jones. Like that's kind of my take on it. Ravens Productions, hashtag Ravens, do you think we have a chance to win a Super Bowl this season? Yes. Yes, I do. You always have a chance to win a Super Bowl when Lamar Jackson is your quarterback. You have a head coach who's won one before, and whatever you say about John Harbaugh, I have my gripes with John Harbaugh. I don't love him, but he's won a Super Bowl before. You're going to have a decently good defense. You have probably the best offense in football. You have probably one of the best, if not the best, top two quarterback in football. You can win a Super Bowl in 2025. Up next, VV with another one. What will our record be? 12-5. That's what I am going with. I'm going to pull up the schedule right here. I think you lose one of your first three games against the Lions, Chiefs, and against the Bills. Two of those on the road. And then I think you probably lose one, maybe two of your AFC North games. And then you're going to lose some random ones here or there. That's just how football goes. 12-5, though, still a wonderful record. I think it's going to be good enough to win the AFC North. Aiden Brain up next. What are your thoughts on JAD starting at safety? I don't want him to start at safety. I wouldn't mind him getting reps at safety. I don't mind him getting reps at safety. I wouldn't mind him playing sparingly at safety. But if he's starting at safety, I think it's either one of two things. It's a problem or he is the next best thing because that means he's starting over Malachi Starks or starting over Kyle Hamilton. So, but if they want to throw him in there every now and then, he's a really good athlete. I don't know if there's a spot for him in the cornerback room, so sure, get him out there. Reed with the last question of the day. Would you rather extend Mark Andrews or Isaiah Likely? I would rather extend Likely. It just makes more sense. He's younger. He has more of an athletic upside than Mark does. He didn't have necessarily the drop problem that Mark did last year. I'm not just talking about the extra point. And so far in playoff games in his career, he's played better than Mark Andrews has. Funny enough. Give me Likely over Mark. I love Mark, but I wouldn't be surprised if like a team is super tight end needy and maybe throws you something at the deadline. Actually, I don't see that happening. But I'm choosing Likely over Andrews to extend. Who of those two Do you think it's going to get extended? Is it Andrews? Is it likely? You let me know your answer in the comment section down below by typing their initials, MA or IL. And while you're down there, you'll find the links to my social media. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on Instagram. Both same handles, Joey Petersen at both. Make sure you spell S-E-N right on Petersen. If you don't, you're not going to find me. Make sure you guys are subscribed as well to the channel. Daily coverage of your favorite team right here on the Ravens Rundown, covering them like nobody else on this platform. So join us today by subscribing.